Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 78 of the Big Brother Season 24 Overnight Feeds Recaps, and welcome to Cliff Notes. All right, we had our live episode last night. Brittany was sent out the door as the fourth place finisher. Special spot in my heart for fourth place finishers. Props to Brittany for fighting to the very end. Maybe lasted a little bit longer than I expected she would. But Brittany is our second to last juror. We are now down to our final three, consisting of Monte, Taylor, and Turner. One of those three is getting ready to win $750,000. Isn't that sweet? All right. So, following the live episode itself, feeds went down for an extended period of time. I don't know, a couple hours, I guess. We eventually got the feeds back right around midnight or so, Big Brother time. And when the feeds returned, we discovered that two important things had happened since the episode had shut down. One, they had the memory dinner. We'll talk about that. They had their little memory dinner rehash filming situation, and they took place in part one of the final HOH. So we do have the results of that. All right. Now, the memory dinner itself, it's where the three house guests have a fancy meal, tablecloth, etc., where they rehash the season for the cameras. And that way they we'll get a best of episode. I think that's going to be tonight's episode, a best of type thing, which we should see tonight, which means that the videos and everything were pretty much probably already done by production. They just needed the three house guests to sit there with their fancy food and say, yeah, do you remember this? Or how funny was this? So the house guests were given, I'm sure, lots of prompts, which will lead into all the little clips for the episode this evening and everything else. So they had that. Now, the food looked pretty nice. We didn't see it actually happen. We only saw the aftermath, but food looked pretty nice. Tablecloths, champagne, lobster tails. Yeah, you make it to the final three, you get to celebrate a little bit as they deserve to celebrate. So we had that. After that, they then had, as I said, the first part of the HOH competition. This is a huge one. And the winner is Turner. Turner has won the competition, which means that he's going to be going up against either Monte or Taylor, whoever wins the part two of the competitions. And then the winner of that final competition will decide who they want to take to the final two with them. So Turner's one step closer to the big check at the end. We haven't seen the comp itself. We're only relying on a little bit of conversation that took place throughout the evening, but it does sound like it might be similar. It could be the same, or at least very similar to the competition where you hang onto the ropes with a little circle you're standing on. Perhaps you get spun around the backyard, things spraying on you, things getting thrown at you, and you hold on. An endurance competition. Whoever holds on the longest wins it. And so, yeah, that's the competition that they finally had. Now, two thoughts about that competition. First of all, it's pretty brutal of Big Brother. I'll call it downright cruel a little bit to Big Brother that they put them in that spinning competition right after they served them a big old fancy rich meal with the lobster and the champagne and everything else. Yeah, that's pretty rough. I wonder if the house guests knew they had to at least think that there's a good chance the competition was going to be a little bit later. So we did have Monty a little bit later saying that he kind of held off eating. I imagine most of them did that and waited till after the comp was over before they tried to eat. Of course, you've been spinning for an hour, so you might not really feel like a lot of eating afterwards. So yeah, a little rough for Big Brother to give them a big fancy meal and then go out and spin them around. We don't know if they got sick. I didn't hear anything about it, so they may have done okay. But yeah, that was the first thought. The second thought, all season long, as they've talked about comps that could be coming up, Turner has gone out of his way to say, man, spinning comps aren't my thing. I can't handle spinning. I may just step out as soon as I see it's a spinning comp. That's just not what I do well. He won the thing. Has Turner just been lying to us the whole time about that particular competition and how he thinks he could do versus not? Don't know. We don't know. Now, in terms of the competition itself, it doesn't sound like Taylor lasted very long. She said something about, yeah, I was out there and just next thing I know, I'm just thrown off. And so Taylor may not have lasted very long. We don't know how long the overall competition lasted. I did that competition. I didn't stay up there long at all. And then Holly threw the competition. So Nicole won the HOH probably in just about record time. Our comp didn't last that long for this one. Could have been the same thing. If Taylor went off, Monty, I think, is feeling pretty comfortable that either one of these are going to take him to the final two. I don't think he threw it. I think it's too important that you win one of these competitions so you can drag the other person to final two. But having said that, if Monty saw the writing on the wall, didn't think there was any chance he could outlast Turner, he may not have stayed up there that long either. Turner may have almost won this thing by default once Taylor fell off. Just speculation. I don't know that for certain, but Turner did complain so much, and next thing you know, he's won the spinning comp that he said he'd be horrible at. All right, now one thing about this competition, based on my own experience with it, the smaller, more petite people tend to have a little bit better chance of holding onto that rope and staying straight up and down as opposed to getting the rope kicking out from under you and all that. I think the smaller people have a little bit more of an advantage. So again, this probably wasn't Monty's most favored competition to be in. And at the end, Turner's taking the first part. So congratulations to Turner. Now, as the feeds came back, Monty was not in the feeds. He was already in the diary room. So we've got Turner and Taylor looking at the memory wall, talking to each other, talking about jury as they look at the memory wall, talk about all players. Turner is figuring that Michael is going to be influencing the journey a lot, which may not be good for Turner, since Turner was at least partially responsible for booting Michael out the door. And so, of course, Turner's saying, yeah, Michael probably will be influencing all that jury while he's over in the jury house. I do think he'll have a lot of say in there. Maybe not so much with Terrence, but with everyone else, we'll see. Taylor is saying that Jasmine and Indy will certainly vote for her. And I think she's talking about if it came down to her versus Turner, that she would probably have Jasmine and Indy's vote. Well, she'll certainly have Jasmine's vote. She mentions Turner, says, yeah, Jasmine, she went out and said, just make sure you take out Turner. So, yes, Jasmine would certainly vote for Taylor over Turner. I think Indy, crapshoot. Who knows which way Indy's going to go with this? I'm really curious to see how this jury, how they vote, what their thinking is. Are they going to be a bitter jury? Are they going to respect the gameplay? Is it going to be more about the social? Is it going to be more about who's got the most comp wins? I just don't have a good read on this jury yet. We're going to find out on Sunday. All right. So they're talking about that. Taylor's also thinking that the jury is probably going to think that Turner's game is stronger, which is probably true in terms of HOHs and things like that. So she's saying that, while Turner is saying, yeah, but the last few seasons have voted much more on social game than just about competitions or anything else. Taylor is saying that Brittany had told her that Turner was an absolute lock to win this thing. And Turner's then responding back saying, yeah, I look at these jurors. I just don't see any way that I can beat you or Monty, either one. I just don't see it. Both of these house guests are downplaying themselves to the other person, trying to make it seem like, hey, if you take me to the final two, you got it wrapped up. You don't have to worry about me. I don't stand a chance in here. So both of them very much are downplaying their chances going forward. But I don't think it really matters, because I don't think either one of these is planning to take the other one to final two. Turner wins the very last competition. I think he's taking Monty. Taylor wins the next one, then wins the next competition as well. I think she's taking Monty. So they're both trying to soft sell the other one on taking them to final two without actually asking it. I don't think it's going to amount to a hill of beans. I think they're both taking Monty, which means Monty's in a pretty good position at this point in time. But I do still think Monty needs to win the final and drag one of these two to give him the absolute best chance to win the title outright. If he gets drugged by either one, I think it's going to be a little bit tighter voting when it comes down to it. Now, talking a little bit more about this with the soft sell and all, Taylor at one point says, Monty is beloved by the jury. They all love Monty over there. But you and me, we each have about half this jury that really doesn't like us, that probably will not give their vote to us. So, Monty's got it wrapped up. You and me, not so much. Hint, hint, hint. Yeah, take me, I'll take you. Again, it wasn't said, just the implication. All right, they are talking about America's favorite player a little bit. They're both thinking that Michael and Joseph have got to be front runners. You probably need to add Taylor into the front runner status as well. For those of you who aren't aware, voting has started. You can cast up to 10 votes per email address. I think it's cbs.com. Go out to the website, you'll find it. But anyway, the voting has started now through Sunday. So if you got a favorite, go out and cast those votes. All right, but yeah, I think they're probably right. I think Michael, Joseph, and Taylor, all three are going to rank pretty high in the ratings. I think Turner points out with Michael says, yeah, do you think any of the controversy with Kyle and Michael bringing it to everyone else, you think that'll affect the votes and all that? And Taylor's not certain as well, but yeah, Michael, Joseph, and Taylor, I think all three are going to get a lot of votes. All right, we've got Taylor telling Turner that Brittany finally fessed up, admitted that she was the one who had voted last week to send Taylor out the door. Brittany had said she was going to do it, but she kind of held off and held off. Eventually, yesterday, at some point, Taylor had just asked her outright. So Brittany didn't really bring it to Taylor. It was the other way around. But Taylor asked, and Brittany said, yeah, I'm sorry. She tried to explain herself. Taylor, basically, water under the bridge, did not seem that upset with it. Kind of laughed and said, I kind of thought that was the case. Turner said, did you really not know if it was me or Brittany? And Taylor said, yeah, no, I thought maybe you would cast the vote to protect Alyssa. So Turner very happy that it's been revealed that Taylor now understands that he was telling her the truth the whole time. It was Brittany spinning the line, not Turner. So I think he's happy about that. All right, at one point they get up from the dining room area. They go back into the bedrooms. They're trying to decide what they're going to steal, take from the house as they leave the house. It's just mementos, things like that. They've picked a few things out. It doesn't matter because you can try to sneak out with a little bit of stuff here or there in your bag. Doesn't matter. Production looks through everything. They'll take out anything that you didn't come into the house with. And at some future point, then they'll decide if you get a little extra memento or two. Typically, they'll send a memento box and it has the outfits we wore, special little things that may have special value to you and things like that. But it's all production. You aren't stealing anything from that house without Big Brother knowing. But they're talking about that a little bit. Eventually, Turner gets into the diary room. So now we've got Monty and Taylor outside. Monty at one point is saying that he feels a little sick to his stomach. Yeah, I wonder why. You just spun around and you eat all the fancy food. But he's saying he feels a little sick to his stomach, even though he didn't eat much before the competition. So he ends up going off and taking a shower downstairs, a shower alone, which is important to point out based on the last few days. But yeah, he's showering alone. Taylor is off she's in a couple of different locations. She's in the front bedroom and then later in the kitchen for a little bit. She's going over days, nominees, etc. To prepare for the part 2 competition, which typically involves memories of past events. I don't remember if y'all remember last year, season 23, it involved getting on top of a wheel that you had to spin to write photos and everything. Big D had a hard time with that competition, as I recall, but it did involve days and events and such. So Taylor's trying to go over her days and everything. Even after Monty is out of the shower, these two are in different rooms. They're just not talking to each other. Now, they are going head to head in a competition today. I think it's going to be today to determine who matches up against Turner in the very last competition. So, that they're focused on the competition. I understand why they aren't necessarily talking to each other, but no conversation at all. It's all about the game right now. That romance is gone. There's no more HOH room. If they, it's got be a little bit tougher to focus on that. Now, maybe I was going to say maybe it changes. There's not that much time left for it to change. So I think from this point on, it's all about the game, baby. All right, Monty's finally in bed about 2:15 or so, Big Brother time. Taylor's ready for bed, and she's complaining to production, saying, man, I got the most important competition of the entire season tomorrow, and y'all are keeping me up all night long, Big Brother. Come on, get me in there and get me taken care of. Eventually, Turner's out of the diary room. I don't know, about 3 o'clock or so, Big Brother time. He's out of the diary room. Taylor's called in. Soon after Turner goes in, brushes his teeth and everything, he's in bed as well. He and Monty both in the car bedroom by 3 o'clock. Monty, all right, as soon as he showered, he basically went and got in bed. But now Turner's in bed as well. Taylor's in the diary room. She's out 30, 45 minutes later. She's in bed by what 3:45 or so, Big Brother time. So again, as soon as she was able, she was calling in the night because you do have a some kind of competition, which should involve some mental stuff along with probably some physical stuff. So there you have it, guys. Today we should probably almost certainly have part two of the competition. It'll be between Taylor and Monte. As I said, I expect it to involve a little bit of a physical. During my season, it was Holly and Nicole. It involved climbing up and down a wall, but also answering questions about days that events happen. So you get the combination of the two. I expect that today as well. Whoever wins today's competition will then be facing off against Turner live tomorrow night as the first part of the finale. Whoever wins that competition gets to decide who they want to take with them the final two. And then that's it. We'll have the vote. We'll have our winner. And we'll start talking about, I guess, Celebrity Big Brother and then season 25. We're just almost there, guys. It's been fun, but I'm glad we finally had the eviction. Let's wrap this up. Let's figure out who the winner. The exciting thing, I really think any one of these three could win based on what happens in these next few competitions and who drags who to the final. It's open. It's not like some seasons where we just kind of know who's going to win it. I think it's much less uncertain this year, which I always like to see. All right, guys, with that being said, y'all have a fantastic Friday. It's the end of the work week. Get ready for the weekend. I will be back tomorrow morning to let you know what happened in the second part of the competition, any thoughts and conversations that took place overnight, and what we think is going to happen going forward. We're almost there. Guys, y'all have a great Friday. Cheers, my friends. SKD 143. Bye.